Hello there, over the past few weeks I've done a bunch of previews for the War Within, but this week I thought it would be fun to bring together a compendium of the small new quality of life features that don't really deserve a full 10 to 15 minute video of their own. I did plan to do a top 10, but I ended up with coming up with more than 10, so let's go. Starting with number 14, and if, like me, you're a super casual crafter, or maybe you decided to start crafting later on in Dragonflight, then you may have found the need to fulfill crafting orders to level up your crafting professions not just annoying, but a major barrier, thanks to the lack of any catch-up for profession knowledge. Pretty much any time I checked for crafting orders, there were either none there or just ones which didn't provide any mats and would have cost more to create than they offered commission. The solution, of course, was to use your alts to create the orders, but logging back and forth was a pain, and personally it made me pretty much give up on crafting. Well, in the War Within, we'll have NPC Crafting Orders. Basically, there should always be an allowance of orders that you can craft. Some will offer rewards like recipes or decent tips. Some will have mats and some won't, but at least there won't be any need to constantly relog, so definitely a win for me. At number 13, and we have another professions related thing. If you have done any gathering in Dragonflight, you'll be familiar with the seeds that you can plant in the patches of ground. Well, in the War Within, this is being transformed into Hallowfall Farm. This will basically be a dedicated area where you can plant your seeds and farm them up. Think something similar to the Sunsong Farm in Mists of Pandaria. Moving on to number 12, and we have a new venue for the trading post, which will be setting up a branch office in the new War Within main hub in Donegal. Now, heading over to Stormwind once a month to visit the post really wasn't a major hassle, but being able to pick up those extra attendees as we complete the bar in our adventure log more locally is still going to be a tiny little quality of life boost. At number 11, have you ever felt that being forced to wear pants spoils your transmog, or do you just want to show off your character's leg tattoos? Well, in the War Within, the pants are off. Yes, you'll now have the option to hide your character's pants. Don't worry, your character will still be decent, at least for the beach. At number 10, and if you have any allied race characters on your account, you'll no doubt be familiar with the way that many allied races get a convenient portal back to their home mini zone down near the embassies in Stormwind and Orgrimmar. Well, in the War Within, your allied race characters will be inviting their entire warband over to visit, with all of the portals being open to your entire account, as long as you have that particular allied race. Now, these seem to be faction specific, with the Alliance portals in Stormwind and the Horde portals in Orgrimmar. The portals in Stormwind are currently on the beta a bit messy. They're just kind of strewn around behind the embassy. Now, personally, I wish they had put these up in the main portal rooms, maybe in their own little annex. The most interesting portal for me is the Mechanome one, which is a friendly version of the Mechagon Workshop. Sadly, this is still not a race-state area, nor does it have an inn, which kind of limits its utility, and I do wish that the devs would do a pass and fix that up. At number 9, and we're getting a new map key. Now, you've probably noticed that Blizzard have been adding a lot more different types of quest icon colours and symbols, and in the War Within, we're getting some more updates, including to daily quests. Even as an experienced player, it's sometimes hard to remember what some of the less common icons actually mean, so just imagine how confusing it must be for new players. Well, in the War Within, the main map now has a handy key which explains it all, and I bet you'll be surprised to know what some of those icons actually do mean. At number 8, and there's a couple of other expansions to the main map. Firstly, the rare areas have multiple layers on the map. You can now select those layers on the main map via the drop downs at the top. Another really nice touch is that the new city icons now have a little tooltip that lists everything that's available in the city. For number 7, and we're kind of back to professions, with the return of profession bags. Now, unlike past versions of profession bags, which were super restrictive, these are just general purpose bags which come with an on-equip bonus for your chosen profession. Now, even if you don't do much with professions, you're probably going to want these bags anyway on your mains, as they're going to be 38, yes, that's 38 slot bags. You can only equip 2 of these, one for each major profession, but that's still an extra 8 precious bag slots in total. For number 6, and we get a nice new update that's again loosely related to those warbands, with the ability to see all the transmog sets you have earned, even those that your current character cannot use. By default, you only see your current character's sets, but you'll be able to use the drop down at the top to look at the sets that are available to other classes. At number 5, and we start to get into the serious quality of life benefits. I'm sure we have all had that moment in a pug dungeon where you need to repair and just no one has any type of repair hammer or jeeves. Well, in the War Within, everybody is going to have reusable access to repairs with a brand new repair pet. Coppers the Kobold is a new combat pet which acts as a repair only vendor. On the beta, this doesn't even have a cooldown. Now let's just hope that it makes it to live in that way. This does require a little bit of effort to obtain, but it doesn't look like it will be a massive deal. I'll put a link to a guide down below, as I suspect this will be something that everybody will want to have. Now, I personally am a fan of open world content and questing, so I'm going to make no apologies for number 4. Something I was sad to see go back in Shadowlands were the Emissary quests, which gave a bonus reward for completing 4 world quests for a given faction. Now, I know that they were replaced with callings in Shadowlands, but I always felt that callings was a bit of a step backwards. And of course, even callings were removed in Dragonflight, so currently we don't even get that. In the War Within, we're getting special assignments, which very much do remind me of Emissaries. This time you'll be asked to do 3 world quests in a specific zone. Doing those quests will unlock an epic world quest, which in completion will award a chest with gold, crests, and a chance of veteran gear. Now, sadly, these quests only come up twice a week, so they aren't really a full replacement for the old Emissaries, which is a bit of a shame. One of the strengths of Legion and BFA was the way that there was always something to do in the open world whenever you logged in. But hey, we can still hope, right? At number 3 comes a very nice piece of player choice. In Dragonflight, we had the weekly Aiding the Accord quest, which asked us to usually get around 3k reputation plus another specific open world activity. These weekly quests seem to be becoming a bit of a staple in World of Warcraft, and now often include weekly gated rewards like sparks that make them near mandatory to do. Well, in the War Within, we'll at least be getting a choice in what we choose to do, with a selection of 4 different activities to choose from. These activities do thankfully seem to be quite diverse, with options including world quests, world objectives, and even dungeons. At number 2, and we have a really nice visual improvement. You've probably had that experience where your character goes into vegetation around a tree and then you lose sight of it, something which can be really annoying, especially if you're in a fight at the time. Well, there's now a new show silhouette option that will get the game to show a dark shadow of your character on screen whenever it's being hidden by stuff. And this particular option is going to be really useful when it comes to option number 1. Now, I'm sure I'm not the only one that sometimes finds it very annoying when a large tree or rock gets in the way of the camera and makes it suddenly zoom in and then back out again. Well, in the War Within, there's going to be a new hidden setting that will allow you to reduce the camera collision effect. It doesn't mean that the camera still won't zoom in, for example, if you go hard up against a wall, but in a lot of situations, you'll find that the camera will be a lot more free floating, and I definitely do like this a lot. Now, please don't take these rankings too seriously. These things are pretty subjective, but I do hope that there's something in this list for everyone. But what about all of you? What things in this list would you have put at number 1? Are there any other cool quality of life features that I've missed? Let me know in the comments down below. If you'd like to see my other more in-depth previews for the War Within, there's going to be a link to a playlist collecting them all together at the end of this video. I have more previews and guides to come as we get ever closer to the War Within, so do make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to get notified when they go live. Subscribing is by far the best way to support new channels like mine. If you find this top, let's just pretend it's 10, right? Fun or useful, do make sure to tell me in the YouTube algorithm by hitting the like icon. That's all for now. I'll be back soon.